Really, Disney? Really? What a colossal missed opportunity we have on display here. I can't really get over how much of a dropped ball the Lion Guard Return of the Roar really represents. I don't have a Disney hard-on like a lot of people my age seem to have, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that there's a special place in my heart for The Lion King. It was one of the first movies I really remember having a fair degree of attachment to, and that affection still continues to this day. Yeah, it's basically a stripped-down Hamlet, and yeah, objectively is nothing amazing, but nostalgia is nostalgia, and I love it all the same. And I'm far from alone on this matter. The Lion King is a fan favorite amongst 90s kids. It's one of the staples of our age demographic, coming out at just the right time for us to really appreciate it and cement itself as a core part of our childhoods. So this fact, coupled with the notion that nothing new concerning The Lion King has really been released since The Lion King 1.5, a film that came out all the way back in 2004, just makes it all the more confusing as to why Disney thought that the best demographic to release a new Lion King project wasn't the same all-ages audience that the rest of the series is targeted, thereby introducing the property not only to a new generation, but appealing to the nostalgia of 90s kids now with their own source of income and ripe for nostalgia milking, but make it instead a project headed for Disney Junior, a demo most likely too young to be familiar with the IP's history, and also completely alienates a generation that grew up with the property and remembers it fondly. This is just beyond moronic to me. Usually Disney follows the money, but I can't see how in any way this is going to amount to a financial win for the company. The Lion Guard, at least based on the premiere special, is a complete train wreck of a series that caters to the apparently new target demo way too strictly to carry much in terms of mass appeal, but also falls short on both the technical and narrative level. So I'm gonna try and go through point by point as to why the Lion Guard misses the mark. And if you think I'm holding the show to too high of a standard here, remember, all of this is coming from someone who unironically enjoys My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, a show about talking magical unicorns spouting the values of friendship. Even I think this series is too asinine to enjoy. I don't think my standards are too high. Where do I even begin with this? There's just so much wrong. The main character, why not? I gotta wonder why they even bothered to introduce him at all. We already had another fantastic character established in the Lion King lore to pass the mantle to and star in this series from The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, one of the few direct-to-video Disney sequels that was actually worth a damn. Of course I'm talking about Kiara, the rough and tumble gal who is a chip off the old block of her dad. Bold, adventurous, curious, and stubborn, desperate to escape her father's watchful eye and explore the Pride Lands on her own terms. A great character to continue to explore the same motivations that Simba had, but was never able to fully delve into because of his father's death. But nah, let's put Kiara to the side for a second and introduce a whole new character. Introducing Kion. Who exactly is Kion, you ask? Well, he's a rough and tumble guy who's a chip off the old block of his old dad. Bold, adventurous, curious, and stubborn. Desperate to escape his father's watchful eye and explore the Pride Lands on his own terms. A great character to continue to explore the same motivations that Simba had but was never able to fully delve into because of his father's death. Yeah, they just gave Kiara a penis. But don't worry, Lion King 2 fans, all is not lost because Kiara is still present and accounted for. And if you think it's going to be weird having two characters that are essentially the same person, fear not. Kiara is now a reserved suck-up who lives to impress her dad, and is quick to tattle on those who break the rules, while still having just enough of an edge to have a bit of a sibling rivalry with her brother that will undoubtedly evolve into jealousy as Kion's role as head of the Lion Guard somehow outshines her future as queen. Fantastic. So what is the Lion Guard anyways? Well, we're treated to finding out as Kion ventures off on his own and ends up stumbling into the edge of the Outlands, where he's accosted by a group of hyenas. If this is sounding a lot like the original Lion King, get used to it. This movie has an odd fascination with constantly recycling almost everything from the original film in a less impressive fashion.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
We're introduced to Kion in basically the same way we're introduced to Simba. There are three hyena bad guys with the exact same personality types and demeanors as the trio from the original movie, despite being different characters. We have a villain song all about revolting against the establishment and taking the Pride Lands for unlimited food, set in a hellish volcanic landscape, with the main baddie ending the number by ascending a mountain, and a poor man's version of Hakuna Matata. The list goes on and on. Anyways, to get out of this situation, Kion lets loose a massive roar that for some reason makes the clouds behind him roar in the shape of lions, amplifying its power or something, I guess. And then he gets a cutie mark. And then it goes away. Okay. When informed about this, Simba takes Kion to an old cave and explains that Kion has apparently inherited the power of the Roar, and he is destined to be the leader of the Lion Guard, an elite group of lions that protect the Pride Lands and the Circle of Life. He then goes on to absolutely ruin the lore established in Lion King 2 by saying that back in the day, Scar was the leader of the Lion Guard, before he used his power of the Roar to betray his comrades and try to usurp the throne, only to be defeated by Mufasa and lose the power of the Roar. Okay, holy shit, this is all kinds of wrong. First of all, how moronic are the lions, specifically Mufasa, to let Scar just chill out and do his own thing if he's apparently already tried to kill his brother once before? In the original Lion King, Scar never came across as a great guy, but his betrayal seemed to be something that he'd been long planning and had done his best to play it close to the chest. All of a sudden saying that this was round 2 just makes everyone around Scar infinitely more idiotic. Not to mention, this retconning of Scar's past completely destroys the story of the Lion King too. Doesn't it? Scar can't have a pride of his own if he killed all the members of the Guard with the Roar during his first revolt. Kovu and company can't exist with these new events. So, with that being said, why even keep Kiara in her bastardized state around if everything surrounding her character is seemingly null and void now? So stupid. Kion is then tasked with building a new Lion Guard with the best and brightest the Pride Lands has to offer. Why we're trusting all of this to a child is beyond me, but whatever. Throw your young son into the most intense of the Savannah's conflicts. Father of the Year right here. We're then introduced to the B team that'll be our main cast for the rest of the series. The cynical intellectual, the fat dopey guy with a heart of gold, and the token female character with a gruff tomboy attitude to dodge any accusations of damseling our lady characters, who's drawn in an oddly pseudo-sensual way to play up her feminine characteristics, implying she could very well become romantically interested in Kion later down the line. The usual suspects, not at all creative, but harmless enough. So Kion is all stoked that he's got his crew assembled and is ready to go, but our Kiara in name only decides to shit on his parade by ratting him out to their dad that Kion is filling the Lion Guard with members who are not, well, lions. Simba, being the product of a complicated upbringing, having been raised by a warthog and a meerkat, obviously understands that there's more to someone than their race, not to mention being rather laid back due to his childhood and clearly none too anal concerning the specifics of tradition. He explains to Kiara these things and lets Kion and his friends on their way, Kiara having learned a valuable lesson today.
Kion, the Lion Guard has always been made of lions. Do you really think a Lion Guard with only one lion can protect the Pride Lands?
Well,
Oh, okay then. Now, this might be a sharp right turn to mention right now, but I'd be remiss if I didn't take a moment to mention the animation on display in the Lion Guard. You've been looking at it for the last couple minutes, so I'm sure you've noticed that it's kind of weird. It's not bad for the most part, but it's a weird blend of frame-by-frame, tweening, and 3D that kind of overlap and intersect with each other all over the place. For the most part, it gets the job done, but there are some weird moments where things get a little awkward. The most glaring to me are the walk cycles. They're just, well, abysmal. Whenever a character is walking, it almost seems like they're sliding across the frame while their legs refuse to cooperate. You'll notice that a lot of the times the camera angles are chosen so the character's legs are cut out to mitigate this issue, but when it's there, it's friggin' blatant. The hippo character gets the worst of it near the end of the film, with a run cycle that is maybe 3 awkward frames at best. The visual language itself is also in this weird uncanny valley territory. The show is clearly going for the same look as the original Lion King movies, even using faux pencil strokes for most of the line art, but the proportions, especially in the faces, are never 100% there. Eyes always seem unnervingly large compared to what we're used to seeing, and sometimes the puppet rigs do some weird things in 3/4 view. I will give credit where credit is due though. The backgrounds are extremely well done, blending matte painting with 3D assets rather seamlessly to create some beautiful landscapes. Overall, it's not the worst 2D animation ever, but it's jarring enough in places to make you realize that you aren't watching Lion King proper. Now, in some of the footage, you might have noticed a character popping around that I haven't really said anything about yet. And it's because I have to save this sack of shit for last, because this character is unquestionably the absolute worst aspect of the Lion Guard, full stop. Fucking Bunga. If there was a way to take all the stupid shit little kids' cartoons do and distill it into one single character and then inject him into the official canon of a beloved franchise, Bunga is that character, and goddamn do I hate him for it. Supposed comic relief archetype that is absolutely grating to bear witness to? Check. Obnoxious catchphrase that is forced upon us every time he's on screen? Check. Best friend of the main character, for some reason, forcing us to deal with their antics far more than any of the other far more interesting and less offensive supporting characters? Big fucking check. And does he have a song? You bet your ass he does. Ugh. I would go into detail about this guy, but I don't really want to. Hell, I don't even need to. I can sum up the entirety of his character flaws by examining a single scene, the climax of the movie. In what I can only explain as an attempt to make another callback to the original movie, the big finale to The Return of the Roar has Kiara stranded in the middle of a stampede of zebra. Great job not damseling your female characters there, Disney. In an attempt to mirror one of the original's most iconic and emotionally charged scenes. This is the scene where the Lion Guard finally come together, proves their worth, and is able to finally sway confusingly racist Simba into seeing the potential of the ragtag team Kion has put together by performing a heroic deed. Everyone comes together to play their strengths to rescue poor, defenseless Kiara. And then, Bunga plays his trump card.
Have you lost your mind? Never had one, Kiara. Now, if you don't mind, scram ya goofy gazelles. Take this!
Yes, Bunga saves the day by unleashing a massive fart. Now, remember, this was the big finale of the movie. The climax of the biggest conflict in this entire special is settled with a fart joke. That's why Bunga sucks. I mean, way not to only undermine the tension you're trying to build in the scene itself, but what an offense to the original scene you're trying to pay homage to. Say what you will about the previous references for being empty and uncreative, at least they were inoffensive. This just feels spiteful in the original film. It's just disgusting. Why, Disney? Why? And after that, the movie just kind of ends. There's no resolution, no scene of Simba admitting that he was wrong and that Kion and company have potential or his approval. It's just over. Your jaw left agape over the flatulent finale. Overall, this is one of my personal biggest disappointments of 2015. Maybe I'm just being too hard on a show destined for Disney Junior, but like I said in the beginning, the fact that this is even going to be on Disney Junior in the first place is one of the show's most glaring sins. This should be on the Disney Channel proper, or even Disney XD. Now that Gravity Falls is basically over, this could be a nice replacement for that slot if it was given the care and respect the property deserves, but instead, we just get a mess that reeks of juvenile indifference. A real shame. Before I go, I just want to take a moment to thank all of my wonderful patrons on Patreon who make videos like this possible. Without these people's generous support, this channel wouldn't be a thing and these videos wouldn't be made. And I'd like to also give a special shout out to Twisted Prism for editing this video far better than I could. So if you see these guys in the comments, give them some love. If you like this video and or this channel and want to help keep it going and be on this list too, click the link in the description below to check out my Patreon. Anything you can do for me is highly, highly appreciated. And that's all I got for this video. Give it a thumbs up if you thought it was good, or give it a thumbs down if you thought it friggin' sucked. Are you a Lion King fan? What do you think of the Lion Guard? Share my disdain? Thought it was good? Let me know in the comments below. Till next time, I'm Tommy Oliver. Stay curious.
Sometimes I think my head is filled with clouds, kicking up a storm when I feel down. I can't put it in words like you can. Though it don't matter 'cause you understand.
But there's one they fear. In their tongue, he's Dovahkiin, Dragonborn.